Bonne soirée, bon appétit. Oh my God. My favorite lobster recipe. Thermidor. Lobster from Paris. This is amazing. You got to try this. You absolutely need to try this. It is so good. One of my favorite lobster recipes. Watch this video. It will change your life. Subscribe. Check this out. Thank you. Oh my gosh. Let me introduce you to my ingredients for my beautiful lobster thermidor. This is a beautiful dish you can have in Paris, but I'm going to show you how to make it. It's not that difficult. It really isn't. You need some ingredients though. For this recipe, you're going to need 2 lobsters, whole. If you can't get a hold of a whole lobster, the tail is fine. Just buy an extra tail because you'll need the extra meat. You'll need a little brandy. You'll need a little dry white wine. You'll need some fish stock, 1 cup. You'll need some shallot, 1 shallot there. You'll need some dried tarragon and what was the other one? Tarragon and shallot. I put it here so I wouldn't forget. It's the French seasoning. If you can't get a hold of it, just use all tarragon. So 1 tablespoon of each or 2 tablespoons of tarragon. I got 1 cup, well, half a cup of heavy cream and half a cup of whole milk. I got 2 ounces of butter. And you'll need another 2 ounces, so separate them. You'll need 2 tablespoons of flour to make your bouillie, which I'll teach you how to make that. You're going to need some Gruyère cheese. If you can't get a hold of Gruyère cheese, you're going to need a cup of it, divided by half. And if you can't get a hold of Gruyère, Parmesan is fine, but this really makes it really yummy. Some fresh tarragon. You're going to need some Dijon mustard from France. Grey Poupon is fine, but if you can find the extra strong Dijon mustard, it's amazing. And you only need about a tablespoon of that. And you're going to need a lemon zest. And I realize I haven't showed people how to do that. So basically you need a grater and a lemon. And you're just going to go like that. If the recipe calls for a whole lemon, this is a huge lemon. So if a recipe calls for a whole lemon, I would do just like 3/4 of this, not more. Okay? But that easy. And then put the lemon in your fridge and save it for another recipe. It's still good. But just put it in your fridge. You know, put it where you put your butter. In that, you know, where that little, lid closes on it. Okay, so let's get going. The first thing I'm going to do is I already cooked my lobsters. In this case, I got them from the grocery store and they were already cooked, which is fine, no problem. If they're not cooked and you get them live, put them in the fridge for a little bit, and I'll put detailed instructions on how to cook a live lobster. But put them in the freezer, for a few minutes before you plunge them in that boiling water. It's much more humane. So what I'm going to do with these lobsters, I'm basically going to cut it in half, and I'm going to remove all the meat. I'm going to remove all the meat from the claws, and then we'll go from there. But basically, I'm just going to perform surgery. Take the knife, put it in the center, push down, and come down. And I like a rocking motion like that. Now this part, I go and take off all the little legs in the back, like so. So this takes a little preparation, you know, but it is a delicious meal. And It is a great alternative. Okay, now I'm coming back the other way. Notice I went this way. Now I'm coming this way. And I'm just going to continue all the way down. Rock in motion. And there we go. Did I go through? Hopefully. All right, let's take a look. Yeah, I got my line pretty good here, so I can, anything that's being stubborn, I could just finish it off here. Whoa. All right, beautiful. Now I'm going to take this apart, okay? And I'm going to separate the meat from everything else, and I'm going to put it in a bowl. And I should show you how to crack the claws. Let me do that. If you don't have one of these, here, I'll pretend you don't have one of these. You can take a knife and with your palm flat, crack it down like that. And then you can just pull it apart and take the meat out. And we're just going to put all the meat aside. And I like to just take my plate and pull. Don't be afraid to break it up because you're going to have to break it up anyways. But we want all that goodness. We want to save all of that. Anything that's really tight like that, whatever tool you can pick it out with is great. If you have a small knife, or if you have a nutcracker, you can crack that like that. Just make sure you don't put any shell into the meat. Make sure it's all shell free. That's the most important part. Okay, so we split it and get a spoon and just clean it out. Not that hard. Like that. And then, Steve trick, rinse it. Before I pull out the meat. Gets all those little red out. And look, you got the meat pretty easily out. Shred it. Throw it in there. Bite size. And then I have a beautiful shell left. Anything loose, pull it out. Just like that. You need to use a spoon to help you out. No problem. There we go. That's how it should look. All right. So let's get started. So I got my 1 cup of fish stock. Drop this guy in here. Oh, I'd be good to turn on the heat. And I'm going to put a medium high-ish. I'm going to drop my shallots in there. Beautiful. I'm going to drop my tarragon in a show. I'll put a description of what I use. Like I said, if you don't have the French herb, you can just use all tarragon. I'm going to put about 2 tablespoons of wine. Now I'm going to bring this to a boil. Oh, let's get something to stir that. Use something like that. There we go. We stir it up so the herbs incorporate into it. And then we're just going to bring it to a boil and reduce it by half. And you'll drop the temperature, you know, when it comes to boil, you'll drop the temperature to about half of what the heat was. We are back. So this has reduced by half. I'm going to strain it now. And just keep that liquid. There we go. You have a spoon handy, just push down so all the liquid goes through. Kind of strain it like that. Okay, beautiful. Okay. Not much, but that's what we need. We're going to need that in a little while. First, we got to make our whey. So I melted this butter and turned off the heat. And the trick of this is that we're going to mix this up, brown it till it turns brown, and then we're going to remove it from the heat, add the milk and heavy cream slowly, and then add the stock. And I'll show you how to do that. So we're going to drop our flour. I like to use a whisk, and we're just going to mix that into the butter and incorporate it. And this takes a little patience, but it's so worth it. Okay, now I got good mixture mixed up. I'm going to put the heat up. Well, on, I should say, and put it on the lowest setting I got. And when it combines and starts to brown, I will remove it from the heat as I mentioned. You gotta constantly stir this. Yeah. It's not hard to do. It's just you gotta stir. Okay, so my whey is coming together. Added more flour until it becomes like a paste. Now I'm just going to let it brown on low heat. And that's what it looks like. See how it's, yeah. I'm just going to leave it on there a little longer. And then we're going to add the cream. Alright, now I'm taking it off the heat. And you just add, turn off the heat. You're just going to add a little of the milk and cream mixture and stir. And once it's absorbed, you'll add some more. See how that's like a beautiful taste? Okay, when I see no more cream just hanging around, add more. You gotta constantly stir it. That's the secret. There we go. Now I'm going to turn my heat back on the burner. Put it on the low heat. Now we're going to add the fish stock to it. Well, our fish stock mixture, I should say, with the white wine and tarragon and all that good stuff, and slowly add that in. All right. Before I put it back on the heat, I'm going to make sure it's nice and mixed. And you know what? We're not done stirring. We're going to continue stirring. I'm going to put it back on the heat now until it thickens. Continue so it comes to a boil. At this point, this is mixed really good. So if it's easier on you, you can switch and just keep stirring gently until it comes to a boil, because your arm will get tired. At least mine does. So here we go. We're just gonna make sure we continue to stir that. Okay, so do you see what this is looking like? All right, it barely came to a boil. And I'm lower the heat, and we're gonna wait 3 minutes. Okay, I think we're ready to add the cheese. And this is a half a cup of Gruyère. If you don't have Gruyère, you can use Parmesan. And by the way, I kind of forgot to tell you guys, if you don't have fish stock, you can use vegetable stock or chicken stock. All right, so we're gonna incorporate this, stir, stir. Okay, so we're gonna add about a good tablespoon of Dijon in there. And that in there. Okay, gotta mix that up. Lemon zest. I'm gonna drop that in there. Put it back on the heat. Not for long though. Just want to warm this up. There we go. Okay. I'm going to take it off the heat. Now, earlier I cooked up a shallot for another recipe. Add some butter on there, so I don't need any clean pan. But I'm going to drop my 2 ounces of butter. And I'm going to turn off the heat. And I'm going to grab my lobster. Now, I got my bourbon. I mean, not my bourbon, my brandy. And I'm just going to add a little bit, like a tablespoon. That smell when it incorporates into the butter. Okay. Now, the butter hasn't melted all the way. I don't want that heat too much on. I just want it easy does it. All that rich butter. Lobster loves butter. Okay. Beautiful. Okay. As soon as it's melted, you add your lobster. Don't waste any of that. And you're just gonna stir it in, and we're gonna leave this in max a couple of minutes. We don't want to overcook it. So we're just really letting it absorb the butter. That wonderful flavor. Let's do it. All right. I'm happy with that. It absorbed almost all of it. Perfect. So turn off the heat completely. I'm going to move my camera so you can see me assemble this. But really, this is easy now. Take it off the heat. I'm going to bring this over here. And we're going to assemble everything. So hang in there, I'm going to move the camera. We'll be right back. We need a little tarragon. Last step in this is you're going to peel your tarragon. Go against the stem, pull the leaves, and it's not science. Drop your fresh tarragon in there, mix it into the mixture. That's it. Now, there's many ways you can do this. That's not going to work. That's not going to work. I prefer using a soup spoon. And what we're going to do is we're going to assemble. So you're going to take your mixture. Got too much in there. Shut. You're going to drop it in there. Stretch out. And you're just going to fill it. All the way up and down. Beautiful. And push that one aside. What's your next one? You want to get it all the way through it. And don't worry, you'll put it in the oven and it's gonna settle down on you. Unfortunately, the head came apart on me. So I'm just going to use a tail. And by the way, if you can only get tails, you can do it this way. Hopefully you get a little bigger one than what I got, but all right, messy hands here. I had to use that. All right, let's get lobster. And we're gonna just throw that on top there. Look how beautiful that is. Trying to keep them flat. And if you still have a lot, you can just use a plate. So we'll come back when we're ready to broil it. But this is ready, and I'm just going to put it in the fridge until my guests get here. Because now I just have to broil it. It's all cooked. It's all ready. I just got to broil it, make it bubbly, yummy, and we're good to go. We'll be back. To do the final step, I'm just going to add a little pepper. And this is nice, coarse black pepper. And don't be shy. There we go. Now add a little salt. And then you're going to add the cheese and try to keep it on the lobster if you can. And this is a little trickier, but not terribly tricky. There we go. If it spills over, it's okay. It's just going to add color and flavor, and that's what we want. Keep the lobsters close together. There we go. Try to get that closer. There. Beautiful. All right, I'll do it. Now I'm just gonna put it under the broiler, and I'm gonna wait till it bubbles. Every broiler is different, So it bubbles, it browns, and it looks beautiful, and I'll show you what that looks like in just a few minutes. We'll be right back. Let's check on this. Watch out, Zoe. Ooh, get a little smoke. Oh, let's pull that guy out. Oh, look at that. Look at that. That's beautiful. Oh. All right, now the only thing you gotta do is put a little tarragon on there to decorate. Look at that. And now we're gonna serve. And these guys are delicate, so be a little careful. But all this deliciousness, bring the plate close. Put a lemon on there. And just drop that on there. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna put a little parsley with that. Yeah, maybe two, huh? And look how beautiful that is. Bonne soirée, bon appétit. I hope you enjoyed this. Subscribe, like, if you liked it, comment. I love comments. I will respond to comments. Share, be happy, enjoy your cooking. Bonsoir et merci.